Hey, what's up you guys? Thank you so much for joining in and welcome to my first ever Q&A. Please excuse my voice, I'm still a little bit sick. Nothing serious, I've been to the gym today so I feel super fine. It's just that my voice sounds a little bit funny. Anyway, let's get to the point. I asked you guys if you had any questions for me on Instagram. And you had so many questions. Thank you so much for that, and I will try to answer them all in this video, but literally there's so many, so I think I'm just gonna split it in 2 or 3, and maybe there are gonna be some more questions. So if after this video there are any more questions you want to be answered, just let me know down below, and I'll make sure that I'll make another question and answer video until all your questions have been answered. So let's just get right ahead. First question. How tall are you? Well, this is a pretty easy one. I'm 1 meter and 72 centimeters. Favorite fruit? Oh wow, this is so hard to choose from. I pretty much love all the fruits. If I had to pick, it would probably be grapes because they're so juicy and sweet, and yeah. But I also love strawberries and grapefruits, and oh, it's so tough. Just like all of them. Avocado oil for skin? I don't see why not. I use hemp oil for my skin and for my hair. It gives them like a super nice shine and stuff. But I also used coconut oil before, so I think avocado oil would be fine. How many calories do you take in and how many do you burn on a regular day? I actually have no clue, like I never tracked. I think I'm about like 2000 to 2500. Well, it depends on how much sport I do that day. Sometimes I do have like several workouts, but yeah, I think it's around that. And how much do I burn? Pretty much the same. Like my weight has been stable since a couple of years. Like sometimes I weigh like 2 kilos more, then I lose it again and stuff like that, so it's pretty much even. I think it would be good to track for like a week so that I really know what I burn and what I take in. But for now I don't really need it because my weight is stable. I don't really want to gain weight, I don't want to lose weight, so this is just what works for me. Which restaurants, markets, supermarkets can you recommend in Berlin? Well, markets, there's some like weekly markets at the Maybach-Ufer. There are also some here around the corner like Yorkstrasse, which is pretty good because then you can just buy without plastic, and also in bulk. And a little tip, if you go, I think they close at like 5 or 6, and if you go an hour before closing, they just give you all this stuff pretty much for free. Like I once went and I had like 6 avocados for €2 or something like that. So make sure to go to those markets. I think they're also called Turkish markets, but yeah, they're pretty good. Then we have Markthalle 9. Here in Berlin, it's a foodie market. They do have a lot of vegan stuff as well. Supermarkets, I always go to Kaufland because they do have a huge variety of stuff, and also a lot of vegan stuff like tofu, soy yogurt, vegan milk. I don't know, it's just like all of it. I personally love to buy fruit and vegetables, and they do have a huge variety as well. And then restaurants, I don't eat out that often. I love the restaurant Soy, and yeah, just as I said, I don't go out and eat a lot of times, so just make sure that it's vegan. And I think it's good. I never had bad food here in Berlin, so I think you're just pretty much good to go. What response do you give people who ask, why are you vegan? I think everybody has a reason why they turned vegan or why they changed their lifestyle. So I just tell them why I went vegan. On the first place, it was because of the animals, because I saw all the suffering and I saw some footage of like cows dying, and it just broke my heart, and I just tell them that. And further, it's also because of the health issues, and I know that a lot of diseases we encounter in these days in our society can be prevented and even healed by a vegan diet. So that's also what I tell them, because it's a big issue for a lot of people. And then also the environment factors and stuff. Just do your own research. There are just so many reasons why to go vegan, and if you tell them all the reasons why you went vegan, it's mostly an act about compassion that comes from your heart, and if they still don't understand it, just ask them why. But most people understand it and they're like, okay. Some question further, some don't. So just tell them the truth and just tell them what comes from your heart. Have you ever struggled with body image? Yeah, I think everybody does. I already touched on this subject on my video about school. I've always been super skinny till the age of, I don't know, 18 something. And yeah, I always wanted to be like the other girls, having boobs and curves, I don't know. But yeah, I was just like a stick, which was not too bad, but I just wanted to have like boobs that the guys look at me and stuff. Because of the hormones, you know, you want to look sexy, you want to look good, and you thought that without boobs you don't look good. But yeah, I struggled with body image, and then later on when I gained some weight, I was never fat, I was never overweight, I was always super skinny. But you know, some girls, they look at models, they see a super flat stomach, they see the super skinny legs, and they want to look the same. So did I. I wanted to become a model like a lot of other girls want, and I thought that even that little fat I had was too much and I wanted to lose it. I never went that far to really get like an eating disorder or anything, but I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, it's not good. But it always came in waves. Like sometimes I was like, I look super good and stuff, and then at other times I was like, you look fat and blah blah blah. But yeah, I think I've pretty much overcome that by now. I think it's a lot about experience, a lot of like just talking about it with your friends, with other people, and really loving yourself the way you are and feeling comfortable in your skin. And for me, sports really did the trick. Like when you do sports, you move your body, you use your muscles, you really gain awareness of your body, how it moves, what it can do. Like weightlifting is really awesome because you gain some self-esteem and you always push your boundaries. And yeah, it's just about confidence, feeling confident in your own skin, in your own body, and not letting anybody else or those photoshopped images like ruin your self-esteem. Next question. Did you ever go on a diet or do you eat intuitively? I already touched on this one. No, I've never gone on a diet because I've always been rather slim and skinny. Sometimes I was like, I gained some weight, maybe I should lose it. But for me, it was never a diet. It was just like a little change in my habits. So I just stopped eating sweets, which I know aren't that good for you, so it wasn't that hard. I just substituted with a lot of fruit. I've never been hungry. I never was like, oh, should only eat like 1,500 calories a day. No, I never done that. I just like kind of changed the way I was eating, just as I changed from going to omnivore to vegan. So it's just like a change. It's not like a radical diet you do for like a month. And yes, I do always eat intuitively. I never tracked my food intake. I never tracked what I burned. I just do it intuitively. Like my body pretty much tells me what it needs. When I had like a heavy lower body training, my body's always like, maybe you need some more calories. And if I don't do anything for a day, my body said like, no, you don't need it. I think it's really, you really have to tune into your body and listen to it, because it tells you what it needs. When I had too much sugar that day, or I had too many, I don't know, fruit that day, it tells me that I need some vegetables, or that I need some more nutrients. I think it's a learning process, but once you're there, once you can really tap into your feelings and your hunger and your cravings, you can really read what your body tells you. A lot of vegan alternatives like milk, butter, chocolate, ice cream contain nuts. Can you recommend some that don't? Now for milk it's pretty easy. If you're allergic to nuts but are not allergic to coconut, so maybe go for coconut milk. There's some rice milk, there's hemp milk, I guess. There's oat milk, so maybe try that. For me, oat milk is my favorite anyway, so it's not that difficult. Butter, I don't use butter at all. It's just a lot of fat you don't need. I know you could go for avocado maybe, if that's what you like, or substitute for butter. Well, yeah, when you're baking, you could go for banana or avocado, as I said. And on bread, I think you just don't need it. Just don't do it. Chocolate, not all chocolate is with nuts, so maybe just look at the ingredients. I think like the regular dark chocolate is without nuts, so go ahead and try that. And ice cream as well, there's soy-based ice cream, or just make your own ice cream. Ice cream is like the easiest, just blend up frozen bananas, you can throw in some frozen berries as well, and then you're ready to go. So no need for nuts in there. Oh, and also while baking you could also use applesauce instead of nut butters. It just does the trick as well. Did your family support you when you went vegan, or did they try to convince you with pseudoscience about nutrition? Any advice? No, my family was pretty supportive. Like, first I went vegetarian for, I don't know, maybe like 2 to 3 months, and they didn't say anything. They let me cook my stuff. Well, my grandma, she was like, "Oh, you're vegetarian now?" If your granddad could hear that, he was a butcher, he would like turn around in his grave and stuff. But yeah, other than that, my family was really supportive and they never questioned it. They always thought it was healthy. And when I told them that I was vegan, again, they supported me. And I think a big factor is also that I don't live at home anymore, so I can go and buy my own food. I can cook for myself. But every time I go and visit them, they just eat my vegan food as well if I cook. Yeah, no, there's nothing. They never said I had to drink milk because of the costume, I had to eat meat because of whatever, iron or something. No, they were always super supportive. And if you encounter your family not to be supportive, I know it's hard because it's your family and you love them and they just want like the best for you, but clearly they're not educated, so maybe sit down with them, don't start a fight, just be super calm, talk to them, educate them, show them the research, tell them why you're doing it and that it's super healthy. Give them some examples of athletes or people you really like and tell them that they're super healthy and that they can even like run marathons, do triathlons and stuff, so there's nothing you miss. But I know that people and parents want to protect their child and just want the best for their child. Just make sure to explain it to them, and I think once they realize that you're not gonna miss any nutrient, that they'll be alright with the decision. And another thing you can do, you could just be like a healthy vegan and show them that you can actually be healthy and don't miss anything and can still do all the sports or all the activities you once did before going vegan. So just lead by example. How do you get motivated when you're having a bad day? Well, sometimes I don't. No, it's not that easy. When you're having a bad day, you could tell yourself to cheer up, which always helps. You could go look in the mirror, smile at yourself, which always releases some endorphins and which makes you feel better. Other than that, you could maybe treat yourself to something delicious but also healthy. Maybe make yourself some ice cream or do something you know that makes you happy. And I have a bad day or I'm in a bad mood, I always love to go to Kiwi, cuddle with her because she always cheers me up. If you're not motivated for a workout, maybe just don't do it, because when you drag yourself to training and you don't want to do it, it's maybe not the best thing. You'll force yourself to do it. Because hobbies and sports should make you feel excited and happy and energized and powerful. And if you don't have that feeling, it's probably not the fault of the sport, it's probably just the fault, well, it's not a fault, but just like an issue with your mind or body. Maybe you haven't slept enough, maybe you haven't eaten good or enough the day before. So if you're having like a little downfall that day, don't take it too serious, don't go in that down spiral which just drags you down. Maybe just do something you know that will cheer you up, and then see if you get motivated later. If not, it's not the worst thing in the world. Tomorrow is a new day and you can start doing great and awesome stuff the next day as well. Other than that, take it easy. And if you really want to do something, do it. Even if you're not super motivated. Like sometimes I really don't want to go to the gym, but I know that after the gym I will feel so much better. And then when I've been to the gym, wonder, I feel so much better. So maybe it's something that works for you as well. Do some sport, get some activity in. Maybe take like a little walk around the block, breathe, meditate, do some yoga, whatever. Just try some things and see what works for you. And if nothing works, just take it easy that day. How do you budget on a vegan diet? For me, veganism is so much more affordable because you don't buy the meat, and usually meat is like the most expensive thing you can buy, well, except for like exotic fruit and stuff, but you don't really need it. Talking about exotic fruit, buy regional produce, which is usually cheaper because it doesn't have to be shipped around the whole world. Yeah, regional, seasonal, and then also buy in bulk, because when you buy in bulk, it's usually cheaper. It's the same for retailers. If they buy like one pair of shoes, it usually costs like, well, depending on the shoe, let's say $50. But if they buy in bulk and they buy like 100 shoes, they get maybe one pair of shoes for $30. And if they buy like 1,000 shoes, maybe they get a pair for $20. And the same goes for rice. If you only buy 100 grams of rice, it costs more than if you buy like 5 kilos of rice. So always buy in bulk, and plus you also save some of the packaging, so it's like a win-win. Alright, budget on a vegan diet. As I said, buy local produce, buy seasonal produce, which tends to be cheaper, buy in bulk, and then only buy the things you really need. And maybe also visit some markets where you could go like right before they close, and then they just throw the produce right at you. So that's what I would do. Do you take vitamin B12? Yes, I do, and I think everybody should, because vitamin B12 is vital for our nervous system. And back in the days, like way before, we used to get our vitamin B12 from like the soil and from the bacteria living in the soil. When we took like a carrot out of the soil, it was in the soil or in the water, and we just like took it from nature. But today our water is cleaned, our fruit and vegetables are cleaned, there's no more B12 on it, which is a good thing because then we also don't get all the diseases that can be transmitted by water. But because we do so, we need to get the vitamin B12 elsewhere. And actually most people have like a minor B12 deficiency, and most of the times it's not vegans but meat eaters or omnivores. Because we vegans, we know that we have to take it in order to thrive, but omnivores most of the time don't really care about it or don't know about it. So it's more often than not meat eaters who have a vitamin B12 deficiency. And here's the thing, yes, meat and dairy do contain vitamin B12, but where do you think cows and chickens do get their vitamin B12 from? Yes, from pills. So why don't you cut off the middleman, the animals, and just take the pill right away? That's at least what I do. Okay, we do have time for one question, then we'll end it here, and I'll continue the Q&A in another video. How do you eat vegan on holidays? It's not that difficult. As I said, I don't rely on milk and dairy substitutes. Like, I don't eat vegan cheese, I don't eat vegan steak. Most of the time I just eat fruit and vegetables, and you can pretty much find that everywhere. So that's just what I do. And of course, like grains and rice, beans, potatoes, you can pretty much find that everywhere. So it's not a difficult thing. If you go out and eat in a restaurant, I think it could be a bit more tricky, because in some countries they don't even know what veganism is. So they tend to put in some milk, or I don't know, maybe just ask them, or go to some markets, buy some fruit and vegetables. You could eat raw for a day, which doesn't cause any problems. or cook for yourself if you have a kitchen, which is always the best. Alright, that was it. I hope you liked it, and I do have so many more other questions which I will answer in the next Q&A, but for now, for today, it's enough. And my voice is decreasing, so I'll continue this another day. Thank you so much for all your questions, and I hope you have a great day. If you have any more questions, please let me know down below and I'll make sure to cover them. But for now, it's time to go out with Kiwi. Even if it doesn't look like she wants to go out, she's just sleeping and chilling a bit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and see you again here on my channel. Have a good day, guys.